Hello, this is a short presentation by ScaleUP USA on its Federal Business Acceleration Program. So let's get started. My name is Nitin Pradhan. I've been a senior executive in federal, state, and local governments. I am the co-founder of ScaleUP USA Growth Accelerator, and our focus is on building great American businesses. I was the CIO for U.S. Department of Transportation, where I had oversight of its $3.5 billion in annual acquisitions IT portfolio. I also had oversight over its 3,000 employees, 10,000 contractors, and 200 major IT systems. And it's here that I got to witness firsthand the pitches that were being made by federal suppliers and contractors. I got to see from my vantage point what worked and what didn't. And I took this body of knowledge and we did a lot of research and discussions, and we have come up with this Federal Business Acceleration Training Program that we want to discuss here today. And we want you to actually look at this as an option to train your employees. So let's get started. So what is ScaleUp USA? ScaleUp USA is a digital business growth accelerator, which means it's always on and available on demand. You can access it wherever internet is available, and you can access it anytime and anywhere. You don't require to do any equity dilution, and this program itself is very, very affordable. And you can access this program using your desktop, laptop, or tablet. Now, let me talk a little bit about the whole federal business capture process itself. Those of you who live in DC and sort of work in this area know that today it can cost upward of $200,000 to get a seasoned business executive who can actually work the capture process. We also know that 9 out of 10 sales calls that they will make will actually lead nowhere, which means almost $180,000 of your $200,000 salary is actually completely wasted. And there has to be a better way, and we are therefore working towards that solution with our Federal Business Accelerator program. So I want to also talk about this very interesting fact, which you may be aware of, but I think it's worth noting. 70% of the buying decision is made before you meet your prospect. Let me read this again. 70% of the buying decision is made before you meet your prospect, which means you only have an option of actually working on the balance 30% of that buying decision. And you better work well and you better work effectively to actually change it in your direction. Now, the last thing I want to mention on this particular aspect is that the government acquisitions process absolutely favors the incumbent. There are lots and lots of reasons why this happens, and we discussed that in the Federal Accelerator program itself, but this is a fact that you need to understand. Now, I want to talk about this very important question. How do you win a federal business profitably? So the word profitably is very, very important, because you might win federal business, and if you have low margins, it's really not going to help you or your business. So here's the issue relating to it. In winning federal business, there's really an insider perspective and an outsider perspective. An insider perspective is really coming from the folks who are in the government. So the program managers, the project managers within the government, they have an insider perspective about that particular acquisition. Folks like the incumbents also do have some level of insider perspective, though not as much as the federal government executives. And then you have the outsider perspective. And these are the normal federal suppliers and contractors who are not incumbents. And there is a delta between the outside perspective and the insider perspective. And if you can bridge that insider versus outsider perspective, then you're going to be in much better shape to win. And what we have done is we have really created the strategies and best practices and tips and tricks that can actually bridge this gap. And that's really where the Federal Business Accelerator program is focusing on. So the Federal Business Accelerator program focuses on these 6 key aspects. I won't get into this in great detail, but if you go to the ScaleUp USA site and actually look up the Federal Business Accelerator program, you will actually find lots and lots of detail of exactly what we are doing here. Now, before I close, I want to also talk about a very interesting program that ScaleUp USA has with NBC, and it's called organic buying. Remember, the federal agencies are very large. It's very difficult for you to actually go out and pitch to all of them and find out exactly who the buyer is within this particular agency. So we have created this organic buying program, which will allow you to target at scale, which means you can target problems, challenges, and opportunities agency-wide. You can also create internal champions for your company in the agency using this program. You'll also be able to build communities of interest in government for your products and services. These communities which can actually pitch on your behalf of your products and services. Soon, you can become a trusted advisor to that particular agency. And remember, this is all happening even before you have ever met the business prospect or the government prospect face to face. This is a very unique kind of program, and I absolutely urge you to look at this program because it can actually do the business capture lead generation very, very effectively. This program is affordable, scalable, targeted, impactful, transformative, and it's in partnership with NBC. Now, finally, I want to urge you to actually join the ScaleUp USA's Federal Business Accelerator program. As I mentioned, it is focused on growth acceleration, best practices, and tips and tricks. And it's a broad program that number of folks might find interesting, including business owners, business capture teams, sales and marketing, proposal and pricing, project management, and program management. This is a one-of-a-kind program. You can actually register from it from scaleupusa.xyz. If you have any questions, just join and connect with me on LinkedIn and shoot a question, and I will be happy to answer it. So thank you again for listening, and we look forward to working with you.